What's up, guys? So real quick, let me put this down real quick. Um, I normally don't do this, but I had to do it just for this specific movie. So we are going to talk about the movie Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. I had just finished watching it right now, and just to give you a heads up warning, spoilers will happen in this video. Okay? I'll give you all 10 seconds to exit out this video before you get spoiled. In the meantime, in these 10 seconds, go ahead and listen to the Resident Evil save rooms music real quick. Give it like one. And it stopped. Okay, let the new one start. Hold on. This is the original. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Okay, cool. 10 seconds. You know what? Let's do another 10 seconds because I know that one guy right there who put his phone down, started the video and put the phone down to go do something real quick. So before I start talking, I know you listen to me now. I'll give you another 10 seconds. If you don't want any spoilers happen, I'll advise you to exit this video. Cool. Alright. So let's talk about this movie. We do have all the theme song, all the safe room music going in the background. Um, just to give us a little Resident Evil vibes in here. I literally was just playing Resident Evil 2 remake, like the beginning part. I have like 7 minutes on it already. Um, let's talk about this movie. First of all, let's talk about how would I rate this. I might rate it after, but um, I want to say it was enjoyable. I did like it. It wasn't bad, but at the same time, it wasn't the best either. We will go down the road on that. Why it wasn't the best? Um, if you were to tell me right now, because I just watched all the movies, one movie would I prefer? The original ones with Mia, uh, or this new one? Hands down, I'm gonna pick this one. I enjoyed this one more than the others because one, they did have a lot of source from the games into this one, other than the original movies were like the first two movies they just had like game stuff, and then after all the movies just went downhill. Um, so let's start with the beginning of the movie. We start off with at the Ra- Raccoon City orphanage, where we meet young Claire and Chris. Um, so basically, they're orphanage in this city. Um, I mean, I'm trying to remember, but there's no way in history in Resident Evil it talked about being orphanage. Maybe I'm wrong, but for a fact, they haven't done anything being in Raccoon City orphanage or something like that. And then this one gets more like way off track. Is we meet Lisa Trevor right off the bat. Claire sees her, uh, thinks she's tripping, and he still Chris, hey Chris, I see someone and she's watching us, and Chris like, nah, you're crazy, whatever, go back to sleep, like, I know what I saw, Claire, like, whatever. So she gets up, roams around, she finds this doorway, which leads to where Lisa is hiding in a tent. um, Claire meets Lisa and she's like, hi, what's up, and we're ready to see her all messed up, just how she is in the game. Um, she kind of uh, she grabs her hand, and says, "You're Lisa Trevor." Like, yeah, Lisa Trevor. And it's like, "Where you from?" And Lisa decides to get a paper, pen, and writes below, which basically in the original games, they're like in the lab in the below of the mansion, which they were not even close to the mansion. So technically, everything was at the orphanage in the bottom. I can't even say it. But yeah, other than that, so there's a secret passage away from there. We get back to that. So she gets caught, and who catches her? No other than William Perkins, which is way like squeeze me. William, Claire, they don't even know each other in the original games until like later. So trust me, you're gonna see a bunch of that throughout the movie with this whole relationship between William Perkins and Claire and Chris, which I don't know why they got the idea of putting this interaction between William Birkin and the Redfields, like as a young, as a basically he was like a father figure for Chris, which just don't make sense. Um, but anyway, she gets called. Um, Chris saves her by saying, "Yeah, she sleepwalks after their parents' death, So like, okay, cool. They went back to sleep. While Claire's sleeping again, trying to sleep, um, she feels something or hears something on the end of her other foot on her bed. And what would you see? This crazy doll that we see in the remakes of the game, especially on Resident Evil 2, from the orphanage. Um, and next to that doll is Lisa Trevor's. And then Claire sees her and she screams. And then that's where we cut to adult Claire, like waking up from a dream she was having. And guess where we wake up? Like where she wakes up. She is a passenger side from the famous trucker. Like the trucker is dressed just exact way from the Resident Evil remake beginning, where he even does the burger like scene when he grabs the burger and takes a bite. So that's like straight out from the remake, Resident Evil 2. Uh, but in this part, Claire is hitchhiking, and which is the most disappointing thing is we know in the originals, even the original game and the remake, she comes in town in her bike. Or in the movie, she's hitchhiking from the trucker coming to Raccoon City. Um, Another thing is the reason why she's coming to Raccoon City is way also off. So she's back in town because she see this conspiracy going on in Raccoon City because of the whole Lisa Trevor. She has this whole background. They don't say much, but she been doing research, all this stuff about Raccoon City. She meets the one guy that we all know is Ben. Ben, that one Ben dude that gets killed in the game by the Tyrant. In the remake, I guess, also in the original. But as we all know in the remake, it's his head blown off by the Tyrant in the jail. So technically, so we went back to that. What was it? Yes. So she's here because he heard of him and all that, whatever. So she's not really in town looking for Chris. So that's another thing that really bugged me is they put this whole thing about Chris and Claire, like I, I want to say not hate each other, but they haven't talked to each other for 5 years, since they got separated from the orphanage. Um, because they got separated from the owners. She escaped, and he got adopted, but I guess not adopted, more like grown up. With the like I said, the father figure of Perkins. As we see a picture later on in the movie of Perkins and Chris together. Um, so fast forward, we get to a point where the old famous first scene where the trucker hits the one zombie. That was straight out from the remake also. They hit and then well they run over it, but the only little difference is they did add it of that trucker being a pervert because he was touching Claire's legs like saying all these weird things. While he was distracted, they run over that one zombie. And that's how the same way as in the remake. He gets hit, she gets hit, they drag her on it for like a few while, and she goes and the zombie goes flying off to the street, all broken. Of course, they both get off and shocked. Like, what the hell happened? We just run over somebody. We gotta call somebody. Claire's like all chill. She's like, hey, get something to wrap her. We're gonna like wrap her, and the truck is just tripping. While another thing that I forgot to mention is the trucker did had a dog with him also. It was inside the truck too. So fast forward to where we at. The trucker is like flipping out and all this. While Claire and the trucker were just bickering of what's going on, the zombie literally just gets up like normal, like in the remake. You get the zombie gets up like I don't know, which is weird because the zombie did not attack him. It just got up and just took off without even Claire and the trucker guy not even noticing it. While they were breaking and it gone, the dog gets off, goes straight where the body was, and starts eating the blood, which we know what's coming up, but at this point it's just we already know. As fans, we know what's going on, what happens with blood contact and all that. So the dog start eating the blood. Where the zombie's gone and all that. So the trucker grabs the dog. They just get out of here, And Claire's still like, hey, we gotta wrap her up, and we gotta find her. And the zombie, whatever. He's like, and the trucker's like, you could do whatever you want. I'm taking off. Like I'm out, So they both get back in the truck. That's where it cuts to the title, I believe. Claire sees someone in the way. I just couldn't see. It was pretty dark also, the movie. But, so it cuts to the title, like, Resident Evil Raccoon City. Welcome to Raccoon City. Then we cut off. We started off again, I believe. I know I just saw the movie and I'm forgetting some stuff already. But, we got to the part where, we get to in town and the trucker, the Claire gets off at the truck already. Like she's there at Raccoon City already, and she gets off, and says that yeah, thank you, and all that. So she's just there, and then we cut to the trucker again. No, she takes off, and then we cut to the trucker with the dog. Before that, we did see a little scene where we saw the dog already turning without them knowing, and so the trucker sees the dog, and he's like, you better not get sick on me, because he was starting to feel weird. And then at that point, that's where the dog bit the trucker like real bad, and that's where of course we know he's infected and shit. I believe no, you know what, yes, that part did happen, but before that, after the title, we cut to we cut to Leon waking up. We already know. Another thing, let me talk about Leon real quick. Let me talk about this cat. Let me talk about this dude. Don't get me wrong, I love Leon. Leon is one of the badasses in the Resident Evil series. Okay, He's the core. He's one of the cores of the whole franchise. You know, he's been down since Resident Evil 2. We know we see him love him in Resident Evil 4. Of course, we're not talking about the whole disaster Resident Evil 6, but he was there. Um, then of course the anime movies and all that. So he was a pretty badass. And when we first were introduced to Leon, he was not a total badass. He's just a newbie, like what's going on, and just a guy trying to survive. But I am so sorry, but in this movie, they made him a little bitch. I'm so sorry. No, that's so true. They made Leon a little bitch in this. He was getting picked on. Even the other guys were picking on him. Wesker picked on him. Um, these two doofus cops comes in and picks on him. Chief's Iron like destroyed him. Like, what the fuck you doing here? You're not even one of us. Get the hell out of here, boy. And why I didn't cut your damn hippie hair and all this? Oh my god. Like, he was, they made him a little bitch. Like, not even in an original game he was that, like, lost and scared. He was more of a little bitch in this game. Oh my god. I'm sorry, but they really fucked up your boy Leon in this movie. He did had a couple of moments, you know, especially towards the end of the movie. He did have a special moment, but at the same time, it was not Leon at all. Like, I'm sorry. To me, that was not Leon. And we're talking about other characters of Wesker. Same thing with Wesker, though. It's not Wesker. I don't know who the hell was that, but that was not Wesker. First of all, he did not have his shades. His famous shades. He doesn't get his shades until the end of the damn movie. And Jill, I give Jill. Jill was pretty cool. I did like Jill. He did have a great line. He even say her favorite, not her favorite line, but of course one of the famous lines in the whole franchise, Jill sandwich. And that was also at the point also. Okay, let's go back to that with Leon and with the whole after of the guy getting bit with the dog. So we see Leon waking up before the whole dog scene. And then after the dog scene, we go back to the diner with Leon. And then that's where we have the rest of the gang. We have Wesker, we have Jill, and to be honest, I did not catch the name, but I'm pretty sure that was Rico. I'm pretty sure it was Rico. But we had them, and then this two random cops comes in also. So basically, it's just so technically they have their own shifts. They have the night shift. Like Leon has a night shift. The whole gang has a night shift. So they're ready, getting ready to go work. Before that, they was having lunch. That's where Joe does the whole famous, line. Joe sandwich. So they pretty much made Joe like a good shooter in this game and in the movie, which surprisingly did not say anything about Master of Unlocking. I'm surprised they didn't say anything like that. But yeah, we saw this little whole scene going on in the diner. I won't describe it that much. Now we cut to Claire arriving at Chris's place, which is something off because Chris was not with the gang. I guess he was late or something. Or he was getting ready. He was getting ready at this point. But so we cut in, and then we do see Claire trying to get Chris's attention. She's like, hey, knocking the door and all that. And then we see this little moment where we see this little kid looking at her. And she looked at him, and basically they had this weird, look. And then she just went high, and then he went back high, and then that's when we see her mom comes in. But her mom, was like something was going on with her mom because her hair was falling off and everything. Like she had bits of pieces of hair and everything, and she just closes the vines. And we get back to her again. But fast forward, she's trying to get in, and then I believe she is the master of locking in this movie instead of Jill. That's another thing about this movie. They flip so many roles in this movie from different characters of the game. Like seriously, like there's different switches here. Like that's one of them. Like um, the switch from Jill being the master of locking in the games to Claire being the master of unlocking here, because she opened that door like nothing with a knife. Her brother was like, Chris was like, hey, like, well, we get back to that. Anyway, I'm rambling here, but she breaks in. Well, kind of breaks in. Opens the door, comes in, trying to find Chris, and then this one like we said earlier, we did see that one picture of Chris and Birkins together, and she also picked up a picture of with the whole group of Chris, Wesker, and Jill together, which we pretty much a little bit of them being kind of cool, before we knew Wesker was an asshole. But yeah, and she had a funny thing to say, which another thing brags me. I can't remember right now, like really good right now, but I don't think Chris and Jill had something together like that, like trying to hook up. I think I remember seeing through the game that Chris does not see her as like that, more like a partner and a friend like that. So that kind of made her in the movie. That kind of made Chris trying to hook up with Jill for a while, because Claire's like, so you're still trying to hit on Jill, like, ain't gonna happen, brother. They had that weird thing going on. But so yeah, we have that going on. That's where Chris comes out, and it's like, do you just break into other people's houses just like this? It's like, no. Like, he's trying to knock. Like, I was trying to knock and no one can answer, so you just broke in, especially at the cop's house. They had this weird conversation. But that's when we get to the point where I was talking about earlier, like, why are you here? Like, we haven't talked in 5 years. Like, what's going on? Um, and that's where she tells him that she is here because of the conspiracy. She knew what's going on. And she had a tape of that one guy I was telling you, our Ben. I guess he had a different name, but we knew it was Ben in the game. Saying all this about what's going on with Raccoon City, that they're poisoning the water and all this, and Umbrella is this and all that. That's where Chris is like, you know what, like, I don't care what's going on, but like, why you here? Like, did you lose your job? Did you get kicked out of college? Did you need money? Like, something, all this. And then that's where we cut into another thing that really bugged me. We get to the Birkins. So, in the movie, the Birkins, let's see, okay, so let's see, Annette was not the way she was in the games. Like, she was, well, the maker think that she was not a scientist as a scientist in Umbrella, as in the game that she was. Like, her and William were like, doing all these things together. Towards, yeah, the movie, they don't say it yet on the when they first introduced the Birkins, but later on towards the movie, they really see that, like, Annette's like surprised about something. But yeah, so we get that going on. We meet them and all this. Sherry, same thing with Sherry. So Sherry, that's another thing. They didn't do that much like in the games where Sherry's lost in the police station. They didn't do nothing at all. Um, so all that's going on. Uh, so I'm trying to remember what else. Oh yes. No, no, no. Okay, so yeah, that's when we get to the point. Birkins gets a call and something happened. We pretty much what happened that the virus got released and everything. And at that point, Birkins like, hey, uh, get Sherry dressed and get ready and meet me and we getting the hell out of here. And then that's when the whole sirens go off the whole town, Raccoon City. Um, and we know what's up already. At this point, if you're a fan, we know what happened here, what's going on. The virus have been released and everything. Um, then that's when we cut to Claire and Chris again. Claire, so what's going on? Like, I don't know, but I have to go to work. Um, so Chris like, so here's some money. Take off, get out of here. When you leave, close the door and all that, and do not touch my bike. So this one, the whole bike comes into play. So she does get to ride Chris's bike, which was great because she steals it. And so we cut to the point where I was talking about the neighbor. The neighbor's all messed up and everything, but um, I am rambling too much about the movie. But so I'm gonna keep it more short now. So the the the, the neighbor was infected, was turning. She did the whole famous I don't know if you, so if you're a fan, we know about in Resident this one journal that we find in Resident Evil 1, where it's the most disturbing journal piece of the one guy was slow. The one guy who was writing slowly turning to a zombie. When we get to the point, we all know the famous itchy, scratchy, tasty, and all that. So this so we get to that point, not in the notes, but in writing. The neighbor actually wrote in blood on the screen, like on the glass of the door where was Chris and Claire was. So Chris was gone like already. He been gone. So Claire's was by herself in the house, and then we see the neighbor doing that, and then in blood you see it itchy, tasty. So we like really know what's up. Like yo, that was a creepy journal, and then seeing a little piece of that, like little callback to that was awesome. That's another cool thing. But I feel like they should have done also writing or something. But um, or maybe that was probably her, actually doing it. So we see another door going back. It's the kid hiding under the table, and then he does a Sherry line that that was on the remake, where where Claire finds Sherry for the first time, and she's hiding from her, and she's like, "I won't hurt you. Um, you need some help." And then that's when Sherry's like, you need some help. And then that's when she gets attacked from William Birkins. Well, it happened the same way, but not with William Birkins. So it's more of just her mom attacking her, which was a zombie already. Um, I forgot who saves her. I think somebody saves her. Oh, I try to remember if somebody saved her. Yeah, that part I really forgot. Anyway, so somebody kills her. I forgot who it was. So, she escapes, and she takes the bike and takes off. Oh, damn, Raccoon, cool. But yeah, so we get there. She goes, she takes off, and then we cut to let me see, was it? Okay, so we get to this one scene where we are at the office now. Chris is there now with Wesker, with the whole gang, with Jill, Rico, and then Sheriff Irons. Um, so they start talking about what's going on, and that's where the whole kind of beginning part, like story before Resident Evil 1 and 0 happened. They're at the office. At this point, Bravo has been sent out already to the Arkley Mountains. Let's go going back to the diner scene where those two weird cops were with the gang and then picking on Leon. So before that, they were actually talking about that they were assigned to go to the Arkley's Mountains because there was, the whole beginning story of the game of one where they were sent out because there was science scenes in Arkley Mountains of uh, people getting eaten and like mango destroyed and killed, and eaten. Okay, so we found that information on the diner. Now let's fast forward to the office that they're saying that some I forgot someone said that these two cops were sent out to the Arcleys to see some mysterious dead bodies, and they say you think this is connected to what's going on right now. Um, and then that's when she was like, I don't know what's going on, but Brawlers has been sent out there too, and we don't know what's going on. So that's where Alpha, the regional Alpha, Wesker, Jill, Chris get sent out to investigate what's going on with Bravo. So that's where what's going on. At this point, so apparently Jill and Wesker are together in this movie. So I believe back then they had beepers. So Wesker had a beeper and he got a message about there's this hard drive or something in in his locker, and they had this weird conversation going on, but just skip that. So fast forward, he tells the Iron Shield sends the team out to find Bravo and tell them to go get dressed. So we cut to the point where they're at the lockers. Wesker's open and finds the hard drive. So this hard drive is it's a literally a cheat sheet, like like funny, like it's a cheat sheet of the. So this thing is not. It's like a PDA, has screen and everything and all that. So it's a cheat sheet for Wesker, So basically, this have everything that we all knew, like had all the puzzles solved and everything, how to solve puzzles. Even though they only did one puzzle, and one of the famous puzzles from the game into the movie, which we will get to. But it was a cheat sheet. Uh, but yeah, so and he's like, "Fuck, what's going on?" Um, so we cut to so they get sent to the Arcleys, and then we cut to Leon. So we cut to the truck, the famous trucker, with the gas tank coming in hot. The trucker messed up because he got bit. He's infected. We get to the point where the truck flips and it blows up right in front of RPD, And Leon was just sleeping the whole time. And the trucker and fire decides to come into the RPD trying to, get Leon, but Iron Sheik was there and kills the zombie now, And this whole time Leon was just sleeping like what the hell happened, And a big ass explosion happened in front of him, not him knowing. And I can say that made Leon a little bitch in this movie. Um, so so Iron Sheeps takes off. He leaves. Tells Leon he's in charge now. Because Leon was being a little bitch, just saying what am I supposed to do? I'm the rookie. What's going on? I'm new here. I don't know what's going on. Like, where are you going? Like, why are you leaving? Like, what, you're in charge. I don't care. I'm taking off. He gets his stuff and gets in his car and takes off. And then um, now we cut to the part where Alpha Team is going to the Alkali Mountain. They see the car explosion with the two cops. Those weird two cops were, but they were not there. They were inside the mansion already. Spoilers already. Well, this whole thing's a spoiler. But they get to that point. They land and they investigate the crash and what's going on. That's where they see this crow um, that was infected just land on top of the car and seeing Chris and no Wesker like, what the hell's wrong with this crow? And that's where Jill kills the bird and the bird just falls and dies and this whole conversation. So another sad part about this part is they didn't do the old famous dog chase scene. They should have done that. They should have added that whole dog chase from the beginning of Resident Evil 1. Like the beginning, like literally the beginning of the game where when they investigate the site and they get chased into the mansion by the dogs. That did not happen. So another thing we're missing here. We're missing Barry, Rebecca. So even though they say Bravo team, none of the Bravo teams were even like there. There was no Bravo team there. All it was those two weird cops, and that's it. There was no Rebecca. There was no Barry Burden. There was nothing like that. So apparently Brad Bickers dies in this movie. We cut to that later, pretty soon. But so Rico finds a trail, and I believe it's Rico. We're gonna call him Rico. He looked like Rico. That's fine. Enrico, I think it was. So Rico finds the trail, and the trail leads to the mansion, of course. So they reach the mansion, and then open the door. Of course, the mansion looks exactly alike, like from the games, from the front, inside the lobby, like the area. The doors, same area. Now that's the only thing that's from the game. That's it. When you go to the different rooms, there's nothing alike. I mean, sure, there's some parts that look almost a little bit identical to some parts of the games. And then there's some parts that it's just a whole different room, but there's something that we recognize in it. And then this weird oval, like circular hall that we find later on with Chris. And so they do separate. Chris goes with Enrico, and then Joe goes with Wesker. So they cut ways. So if you know if you're a fan and you have played, of course, the original Resident Evil, Joe and Wesker goes to the doors to the right. Those doors that have the one statue that you get the map on top. And then that's where the hall of the dog is. Sadly, there was no dogs in that mansion, which sucks. But hold down. So fast forward. Let's just skip all that. Mansion, yeah. So like I said, he got the PDA thing, right? So Whisker sees it, and I'm pretty sure it was pretty fast, like a good few seconds, but it was still fast. To show a map where they were going. I'm pretty sure that was the map 1 from the original games. That you know how when you open your menu and you see the menus? I'm pretty sure that's an exact menu, like map from the original games and the PDA, So the PDA. So fast forward, we get to Chris and Enrico now, and they bump into the old famous first Resident Evil, the infamous Resident Evil encounter, like the first zombie. We get to that point where they have the Resident Evil, the first zombie, and the one cool thing about the mansion part was, I had to cut that real quick. So one cool part about the mansion was, one thing I liked about the mansion part, like scene, like the whole out of the scene, is they kind of mixed the whole mansion part with Resident Evil 2 remake. You know, it was creepy and dark, and all you had was the flashlight and everything. That had the whole Resident Evil 2 remake feel when you're going down the halls and it's pitch black. Oh, yeah, how you? That was pretty awesome. You know, we pretty much saw like a little, preview if they decided to remake Resident Evil 1 the way Resident Evil 2 remake is, like nice and darky like that, and you only had a flashlight going to halls. That would be it. That was pretty cool. That's one of my pros of the movie. It was pretty cool to feel through that. And there was a lot of jump scares, a lot of zombies attacks, and this kind. I was like jumping, like oh crap, damn, that was pretty cool. It was a cool scene moments, or you had the whole going through the rooms, the halls. It was pitch black and everything. So they did that. They killed the first zombie. They're trying to help the one of the cops the two cops. The weird two cops I mentioned. So the zombie, the first zombie, the whole eating Joseph. I think it was Joseph. It was Joseph, right? In the original game, it was Joseph. I believe I'm getting some names wrong. That one guy he was munching on. So that was actually one of the cops he was munching on. So that's one of the cops already. Um, so they killed the zombie the way we killed him in the game. Shoot him, do a couple of shots, and they go down. So I was pretty cool. They went with the game kind of killing the zombies. Like how you can't really aim. You just gotta hope for the best. So you shoot a couple of times and they go down. So that's what happens. Now Chris is trying to help the one guy, and then Enrico goes upstairs because Chris tells them to see what's going on, and then that's where Enrico gets ambushed by some zombies. Unfortunately, he gets killed. He gets like eaten and everything, and a bunch of zombies attacks him. And then at the same time, Chris is getting attacked also. Like it was just crazy. Like oh crap! And then basically the whole time it was so dark. Um, but other than that, fast forward all of that. Of course, it was creepy. It was awesome, and that's what I liked about that part. It had like Resident Evil 2 remake feel with the Resident Evil, mansion part. So we go back with Chris. I mean, I'll with Wesker and Chill. Um, so we see like I said earlier, they used like he had the cheat sheets for all the puzzles of like all the mansion. So like I said, they include one of the famous scenes, which at the same time it was cool, but at the same time was pretty like disappointing because they added the piano puzzle, where that if you're chill you could automatically play it because she knows how to play piano, and then it opens a door that you need to get the chill part and all that. Or if you're Chris, you have Rebecca play the part, and it happens. So the disappointing part is Jill did not do it. Um, at this point, like I said, Wesker had the cheat sheet, so he had the combination and the PDA, of playing the piano. Like, what kind of bullshit was that? So you do hear the Moon Sonata a little bit, in those couple of notes, but it was also not played completely like how Jill does it. So that's another disappointing part right there. Now we get back to Breaker's. Um, I forgot his name. The guy from the chopper. Um, so unfortunately he dies. But before he was dying, because he gets surprised by zombies, he gets attacked by zombies in the chopper. So before he died, he takes off. He's in the air. He gets close to the mansion. Joe and Wesker sees, and just like what's going on with Bickers. There you go, Bickers. and like he's like, oh crap, like get out, you know. He's crashing into the windows, and he's like, watch out, and boom, and that's when it shot. So that's where the whole Resident Evil 2 scene where the shopper lands into the window and blows up. So they kind of decided to add that too, but with Bickers crashing into the mansion window and blowing up, with him causing his death, of course. Now that's where we cut to the whole Wesker betrayal part, where at this moment he knew nothing. He doesn't know nothing a lot about Umbrella, which of course in the games it's all about Umbrella, not Umbrella, but like um, he was actually trying to betray Umbrella too. He was like a double agent trying to kill Umbrella. But in the movies, he was like way in the dark of who Umbrella is. But he does mention that he was offered something, and that's where he causes the betrayal part. You know. Um, then after all that, we cut back in with Claire and Leon, where they did the whole famous a little bit of going through the RPD kind of part. But before that, we cut to Iron Chiefs coming back because he got to a checkpoint where it was blocked, and that I'm pretty sure because after the whole shooting, because they started shooting these other civilians, and then they started shooting Chief Iron's car and everything. So Iron Chief escapes and everything and goes back to the RPD. But when they cut to Chief gone already, and we have two Umbrella Soldiers coming in, I'm pretty sure I know one of them was Hunk. So Hunk was actually introduced into the movie, which was pretty cool, just for like a few seconds, because he did have the same whole voice when he was introduced. But yeah, so Hunk was in the movie. Cool. I believe it was Hunk, but it was Hunk. So we cut to the part where Chief gets back to the garage. The car's all messed up. He gets off. He's coughing and like, and then he hears a noise. What we hear, of course, dogs. So it's just one dog. So this dog is just you know scaring him and going to different spots. Like running around. Um, Chief didn't have his gun. He goes back to his messed up car, gets the gun and reloads it. It's a revolver too, so it was a 5-shot revolver too. So he was putting bullets on it, and then of course they did the whole famous dog scene there, where we pretty much already if we play the games and you seeing that you already knew what was coming out before it happened. So like the camera literally cuts to inside the car to the driver's window, and what happens? Of course, the dog busts into the window and attacks the chief. But the chief starts shooting at it and it escapes. So they did the whole famous dog scene there. Um, so they shoot. He's hunting him, and he of course he hears them, shoots 2 shots. He hears some of the different 2 shots, and then another spot he shots and he wastes all his bullets there. But of course he didn't hit the dog. I don't know what got him the nerves to look down of a car trying to see it because he thought well, we do see the dog. Well, let's just forget all the little details, but scene with the dog, waste of the bullets, and the dog knows and comes in to attack him, but gets saved by Claire by killing the dog in his signature and just kills him. And that's where Leon comes in. Says like, hey, put that down. Who are you and all that. So that's where Leon and Claire meets. So they go back into the RPD and see that the front gates were getting full by zombies now. Um, and I remember I said like, wait, we need some weapons, and they say there's some weapons at the lower level at the armory. So Claire and Leon go to the armory, and that's where we get the whole famous Leon meets Ben scene. You know, because Ben was locked up. Um, Sadly, there was no tyrants in this movie. But there was something more famous than that in this. But we get back to that. So yeah, so you know, just having this conversation, like why you locked up and blah blah blah, and yeah, he actually did have somebody inside the same cell, and he was turned into a zombie. Um, Ben takes the gun from Leon, tell the A open this door, hurry. The key's on the desk. Leon's trying to find the key while the guys was turning. He finally turns, and Leon opens the door, and it was too late. He gets attacked. And dies, you know, and he lands famously like in a remake on the wall after he gets his head blown off. Um, and Claire comes in because that zombie was on top of Leon. He gets attacked by the same zombie, and he couldn't kill him and all that because he didn't have his gun. Claire comes in for the save, kills him, and then sees Ben. Well, his name wasn't Ben. I think his name was not Ben, but we're gonna call him Ben. Like I said, the guy that informant. He's dead. Claire sees him. He's like, oh, that's the dude that I kind of talked to him. You know, the reason why this is going on. And boom, all that. Zombie wakes up again because he didn't get killed. Leon heard it, turns around and just blow out, goes start wasting a whole clip on it. He dies. So we cut back to the lobby, and there's more zombies. So they started breaking in, and they go to Iron Chief's because Iron Chief was contacting Bickers because they needed the chopper to get out because that was the only way to get out. No luck, so Iron said, you know, I know another way. Follow me. They do. They go through the hallways like you know in the games. Zombies come in. Claire gets some kills, you know, some zombie kills. He gets attacked by a zombie, but kills him. So they get out through some weird garage, and then guess where they end up? They end up at the orphanage. So they go into the orphanage, and that's where we get the old famous liquor scene. At the orphanage, not the RPD, at the orphanage. Iron Chief gets killed by the liquor. He gets, but at the same time, Leon is seeing some these lights are hanging. They're moving one by one, randomly. You know what's going on, and then that's when we get the encounter of Leon. I mean Lisa. Lisa tells her to be quiet and look up, and then Leon's like, "Oh, guys, like what? Like Claire comes, and Lisa was not there no more." And then that's when we see Iron Sheep gets killed by the liquor. He gets picked up by the tongue and gets killed, gets his head chopped off. And then that's when we see the liquor in the ceiling scene and drops, and they both run away. So another cool part that happened is because what's his name? Leon trips, falls, drops his gun, and the liquor was on top of him trying to kill him. Lisa comes for the save and kills the liquor like with brute force. That was pretty cool. Claire tells Lisa. So apparently Lisa is cool in this game. I mean this movie. Like he's a helper. Not like one in the games. If you see her, he attacks you and stuff. But yeah, Lisa tells. No, Claire asks Lisa, "Do you know the way to get out of here?" So that's where Lisa takes her to this room, the room where we were first saw in the first movie of the orphanage, where we found her in a tent. Lisa gives Claire the famous of Resident Evil 2, all the keys, and Lisa gives Claire all the keys in one hit. Like she gets the famous keys, the club, the spades, the diamonds, the hearts keys. in one hit, and all she does is use one key, which is the club, to open that one door that Lisa tells her. It's the elevator that leads to the underground. So so apparently this secret path leads to the mansion. This is when it gets off crazy. Um, so we have Leon and Claire going to the mansion, which that never happened at all. So the first error is they're fitting Resident Evil 1 and 2 at the same time, where we know that 1 and 2 taken different times. I mean, it's almost in the same month, maybe like a week apart. They decided to put them in less than 5-6 hours, because it happens on September 30, but it happens in like, so when we first see the movie, it starts at, I believe they put the time maybe 8, no, not 8, like 10 o'clock, like that, I believe. So they have from 10 to 6 to escape Raccoon City. So they, throughout the movie, they throw out different timestamps what's going on. So yeah, so like I said, they put 1 and 2 together. They put the mansion and then the RPD together instead of the Resident Evil 3 and 2 being together. They decided to put 1 and 2 together. So they get to this passage. They get to the mansion. Now we cut back to Chris again with the old famous spookiness of Resident Evil 2 remake of darkness, shooting zombies, and all that. Um, Chris gets into a pickle, gets saved by Jill. So it's Chris Jill reunites and they get together, and look what happens. They actually bump into um, Birkins. Well, before that, we have Wesker bumping into Wesker, Lisa, and I mean Annette and Sherry. So so basically, Wesker was hunk in this situation. He's We get to the point where Birkins gets to the lab, gets all the different viruses and put them in one. Of course, G. They had the old famous G virus there, right there. They put in the case. The same time, there's this one weird someone turned into a zombie, but all opened up, like saying asking for help. So at this point, that's where we know that because Annette was petrified, along with Sherry. At this point, we knew that Annette was not a scientist like that in the original games. Um, so they're petrified. Wesker gets here, asks for G, like I'm here to get G. Like give me G, and the whole famous of I'm not giving you G, my life work. Um, so he was closing the case, and there was a gun behind the case. Wesker grabs and shoots Wesker, and then Wesker's like multiply shoots Birkins. Birkin drops. Annette and Sherry goes to William and say, "Oh no, what's you doing?" And just so Wesker's injured, like, "Give me that, like hurry up." Annette picks up the gun and shoots um to Wesker's again. No, he was going to shoot Wesker, but Wesker beats her to the punch and kills Annette with a headshot. So Annette dead. William is still alive, and Sherry has to unbearable see this whole massacre happen in front of her. Um, then that's where Sherry escapes, and then um, Wesker gets to Perkins and tell him, "You made me do this. You could just give me that." And then that's where we see Perkins release her hand in an injection. So Perkins injects himself with Chi. That's where I believe the Sherry picks up the gun. I believe shoots Wesker again, and then that's where Chris and Jill comes in. I think Jill shot Wesker, and at that point, that's where Wesker dies. So, like I said, you want to say roles have been reversed in the movie. So you know how with Sherry it was Leon and Claire. In the movie, it was Chris and Jill. So they save they get Sherry. They're trying to get out. Wesker's dead. So they're both escaping, and then surprise, surprise, we get the famous G Birkins. Now it's a little disappointing. He has two forms in the movie. He has the first form that we know with the big eyeball, but unfortunately in the movie it was just small little eyes. It didn't have the big eye. That's the disappointing part a little bit. And then the disappointing part is that Perkins was talking the whole time, toying with Chris. He'd say, "I know what you is," and like, "I should have killed you or something," all this whole stuff. Um, that's where he gets Chris, start killing them, throwing them around, and that's where Claire comes in and shoots Perkins with a shotgun and tells him to stay away from his brother. So Perkins falls flat. But we already know he was going to die. So Chris, Claire, and then Leon, because they're there, they all escape. They they leave. So we get to old famous getting to the train and escaping. It's Jill, Cherry, Leon, Chris, and Jill all together. This is the first time we see all the four heroes together in one screen. Jill never meets Leon. That's the only thing that happened here. Um, they have never have contact with each other. In this movie, they bump into the diner. They actually have a conversation between Jill and Leon, and then we get to the train part, and they're all together at the same time. So that's just weird. If you want to see all your heroes in one screen, this is what you want to get. So we get this famous showing escape. Of course, Raccoon City. They had like four minutes. Uh, Leon gets to the car trying to get out, get it started, and then they have this weird conversation. Chris and Claire, and then that's where it happens. Birkins, of course, Birkins not there. Birkins comes back, and we skip Form 2 and we go straight to Form 3, which is so badass. That's the only thing that really surprised me is G's third form was so badass. And the movie, like the whole famous, uh, if you know what Joe, what is that? Okay, so I think that ends it. But that's one of the cool parts about the G part. Um, Birkin's third form was on point. I think it looked more better in the movie. Um, but yeah, so that's the whole thing. We got the whole G fight. They had trying to shoot him. He grabs Claire. Claire stabs one. I believe it was one of the eyeballs. I don't think it was one of the eyeballs. No, it was his face. And he drops her. Chris is just shooting with a pistol and do. And then that's where Leon comes in with his badasses. The only time he was badass out of the movie, comes in with a rocket launcher and kills G with a rocket launcher. It blows part of the truck, and then yeah. So they managed to escape. We cut to the point where the mansion gets destroyed, and then the whole Raccoon City was destroyed. And then we cut to the whole famous of Resident Evil 2 ending where they're coming out the train area and they're all walking. But this is the point is where all the heroes, Chris, Jill, Claire, Leon, and Sherry are all walking out. The way the normal Resident Evil 2 ending when they're coming out of the train. That's the same ending with all the heroes, and that's where the movie ends. Well, it ends there, and then there's an actual post-credit scene after the credits a little bit, where we cut to surprise, surprise, Wesker being alive. Um, so apparently, they made him really sensitive to the light, where he was like trying to like get away from the light, like messing up, and then guess who walks in? Ada Wong walks in, gives his Wesker the shades, and that's where Wesker got his the sunglasses, the whole famous sunglasses from all the whole movie. That's when he had the sunglasses the whole time, and then Ada comes in. Ada was actually the more superior than Wesker was. Comes in with the old famous Resident Evil 2 remake look of the coat. This time the only difference is she had a ponytail on, which why? You know, her hair was down. But yeah, so she comes in, gives in, and he tells him that we're the one that revived you. We already know why he got revived with the T virus, and that's where the movie ends. So I did a whole hour review. I'm sorry, it was not a review. It's more describing the whole movie. But there's a lot wrong in this movie, and they did use a lot. So what I did say is, the movie was good, kind of, but at the same time, it wasn't good. Look, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. Now, the reason why it wasn't that good because they fit like so much in an hour and 30-minute movie. Like they wanted. Oh, there's one more thing that I totally forgot, which at this point I'm still like, they should have not added that scene. Like you know, this movie is supposed to be Resident Evil 1 and 2 in one movie. Out of nowhere, they decided to throw in Resident Evil Code Veronica. The whole they literally did the whole footage in live action. When the one video that you find in Code Veronica of Alexia and what's the dude's name? I already forgot. It's not Alexander. It's well, the Ashford twins. You know the whole famous that they have the dragonfly and they're cutting the wings off and they just weirdly stare at each other. They did that. They found that video. Claire and Leon found that video. Why? Because they decided, oh, you know what? Umbrella is experimenting with orphan kids, and they decided to do all this stuff, and they just decided to add that the Ashford twins. I like, why are we adding Cole Veronica in this movie? I mean, it was pretty cool seeing the whole twins video live action. I mean, it was literally the same video. It's just instead of how it was live action. But yeah, it was like, why did they add that? But yeah, if I have to rate this movie, look, don't get me wrong. I did have fun watching this movie. It had some great moments, especially the G fight with the whole famous third form. That was so far one of the best parts of the movie. And then the whole scene of having Resident Evil 2 remake feel on the mansion. Those are great moments. There was a lot of moments that was way off, like especially Leon being a bitch in this movie. Um, they didn't add it. Barry, Rebecca didn't add none of them. They even another thing. There's another like I said, there's a lot of things that you won't notice that was from the game into the movies. They like to throw them a little bit in the background. Like there's just one point back at the office where Alpha Team was there. Jill, Wesker, Chris, and then Iron Sheets were there, and Rico. So Jill decided to talk a little bit of what's the worst ways to go out. And she says a giant snake or a giant shark. So we pretty know that's a reference of John and Neptune. If you don't know who John and Neptune is, it's of course John is the giant snake that you meet in Resident Evil One when you do that one fight, and then Neptune, of course, is the giant shark that you get to later in the game, which you pretty much do not actually face him in the remake of Resident Evil One HD. You pretty much do not even face Neptune. You all you do in the game is go to the power cord and you throw an electric box and you turn the power and you kill it. That's the only thing you do with Neptune. I believe you do face him a little. No, I don't think you face him in the original game either. No, the only fight you do face in Resident Evil 1 is John, which is the snake. But they did have this small little reference. They even talk a little bit about Oswald E. Spencer. So we did have a little story about Oswald E. Spencer. Just see what else they did. Oh, back at the mansion, you know what it says? The only thing they really got from the game was the mansion's hall, but the other rooms were not there. I mean, they did have little things, and they put things that make it look like it's the room. For example, you know the one hall was talking about where the weird round hall where Wesker decides to look at the PDA and he's looking at the map of the mansion, which we know it's the same map they use in the game. When they're walking around, you can actually see knights standing, which is also reference to another puzzle that you get in the game, where you have to push the knights in a different order to make them stay there. Other than trying to remember what else they had hidden in there. I'm pretty sure somebody else is going to do an Easter egg videos on that. I'm pretty sure some of them are going to be there to talk about the John and Neptune, the Itchy Tasty, the whole reference of the first encounter with the zombie, and then also the first encounter with the dog when they break through the window. Trying to see what else they had. The samurai H gun that you see that Rico finds. Trying to see what else they had. Oh, I remember now the whole cage, a bird cage that you actually see in the game. It's also in here too. There's a lot of callbacks to the actual game in here. Um, Not a lot, but you could see it right off the bat. Of course, the Joe sandwich. The football team. I believe they talked about the football team in one of the Resident Evil spin-off games. What else? Oh, the RPD lobby looks way like awesome. Like, it looks straight out from the game too. Um, Trying to see what else. Of course, the liquor. We had dogs. The orphanage from the Resident Evil 2 remake. Um, but other than that, is they kind of follow a little bit of the games. Not a lot. They really talked. They didn't talk a lot of what was going on. They they did talk a little bit of Umbrella doing this, that it is for made by Oswald Spencer. But like I said, this it's an enjoyable movie. But like I said, it wasn't that bad, but it was not so that great either. If I have to rate it right now, I'll give it like 8, maybe 7.5 or 8 out of 10. I give it. That's just me. Um, they tease they did tease a second movie because they ended with whole Wesker being alive and Ada Wong coming in. Um, but yeah, that's my talk. There's a lot of cons and a few pros in this for me. But other than that, it's something that I did enjoy. Is it something am I gonna rewatch? Yeah, I'll rewatch it again. It was pretty great. I'm pretty sure it was much better than the original ones. Hopefully they do a second one. Maybe they have to make it nice and steady and do not cramp everything in one movie. They decided to cram 1 and 2 in one movie. If I'm pretty sure they could have done way more better. It just did the first game in one movie, because they did a good amount on the first movie, but they fit so much. If they took the time to make the movie right and they decided to make the first game in one movie, like special movie, they could probably added other puzzles from the game into the movie, trying to get to this place. I feel they could have done the underground lab also. They could have done that in one movie. Um, and then for the second one, they could have done the whole Resident Evil 2. And if they wanted, they could probably have done Resident Evil 3 and 2 together at the same. Now, now that Resident Evil 2 and 3, you could have actually done it in one movie if you wanted to. We could have cut. We could have one like doing Leon and Claire stuff like going on, and then we could cut to Joe doing running away from Nemesis like that. I mean, they could probably fit 2 and 3 together if they wanted to, but make it a little bit more bigger the movie, like more time. Uh, but yeah, so that's my I don't want to say review. I kind of spoiled the whole movie pretty much. But I did review. That's my review and what I thought about the movie. Let me know what you feel about the movie. An hour and 17 minutes in this video. It's pretty long. But let me know what your experience was in the movie. If you see the movie, how you feel. Do you feel the same way I feel? Do you think it was You think it was horrible? You think it was awesome? Like I said, this is my opinion, my review, what I feel, what they could have done better, what I liked. Uh, but yeah, um, but yeah, I'm gonna end it right here. That's my review, and have yourself guys a wonderful day.